scientists didn't believe she could create a program that translated words into numbers, but she persisted and showed she could. Her work led to the invention of programming languages. For all of her contributions, she's sometimes called Amazing Grace. If you do something once, people will call it an accident. If you do it twice, they call it a coincidence. But do it a third time, and you've just proven a natural law. As a teenager, Rosalind Franklin knew she wanted to be a scientist, so she studied hard to become a chemist. While Rosalind's early work was on carbon, her later work focused on viruses. She and one of her students discovered that there were two different forms of DNA, our genetic code, and she took a photograph using her X-ray technology to prove it. A male scientist who didn't like Rosalind showed her work to two other scientists, James Watson and Francis Crick, who were also studying DNA. Watson and Crick based their DNA model on Rosalind's work, and when they were awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine, they failed to give her the credit she deserved. Still, she persisted in continuing her research, and her work is still being used today by scientists investigating many viruses, including the virus that causes COVID-19. Science and everyday life cannot and should not be separated. Gladys West knew she had to get a good education to realize her dreams. Her family didn't have much money, so she persisted in working hard, became her high school's valedictorian, got a scholarship to Virginia State College, now Virginia State University, and earned her degree in math. She was hired by the U.S. Navy and focused her work on the study of Pluto's and Neptune's orbits, and found out that Pluto made 2 orbits around the sun in the time it took Neptune to make 3. She then worked on the CSAT, the first satellite that could successfully sense oceans. Using that information, Gladys created a more exact model of Earth's surface. Her work is the basis for GPS, the direction system used around the world. So we can all thank Gladys for helping us not get lost. When you're working every day, you're not thinking, what impact is this going to have on the world? You're thinking, I've got to get this right. As a child, Jane Goodall loved animals and dreamed of traveling to Africa to live and study the animals she had only seen in books. When she was 26 years old, Jane moved to Gombe Stream Chimpanzee Reserve, now Gombe National Park, in Tanzania, to start her own research camp and study chimpanzees. Because she did not have a PhD, some people doubted that she could make any research contributions. She persisted and discovered many new facts about chimpanzees, including that they make and use tools, which no one had known before. Even after her groundbreaking work, some male scientists dismissed her findings because she was a young woman. 6 decades after Jane moved to Gombe, she and the Jane Goodall Institute continued to research chimpanzees, work to protect them, and teach young scientists across the globe. Every one of us makes a difference. How we act each day can begin to change the world. As a girl in Hong Kong, Flossie Wong Stahl went to an American-run school. Thinking it might help her succeed, her parents and teachers encouraged her to change her name from Wang Yiqing to something that sounded more American. Her father suggested Flossie after a recent typhoon, perhaps believing that his daughter could take the world by storm. When she moved to Los Angeles for college, she persisted in her love of science. Flossie was one of the first scientists to study HIV, a disease that attacks the immune system, our body's defense against germs. Her work led to the development of medications to fight HIV. Flossie's research also helped us better understand cancer and other viruses, including the one that causes COVID-19. Millions of people around the world today are alive because of Flossie. It adds to the joy of discovery to know that your work may make a difference in people's lives. As a toddler, Temple Grandin didn't speak, and she was later diagnosed with autism. Even after she did start to talk, school was challenging for Temple because other kids made fun of her for being different, but she persisted. After spending time on her aunt's ranch, she later realized that the animals she was around felt the same fear and sensitivity to sound and touch that she did. After completing a PhD in animal science, Temple dedicated her life to improving the living conditions of cows and bulls on ranches and farms. Today, the system Temple developed to check how well animals are treated is the standard across the United States. Temple's research, writing, and speaking